Live from the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, this is Iowa Live.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. It is time to say hello to Professor Jeff Stein. Hello, Mr. Stein.
Lou, it is always a privilege. Good to talk to you, sir.
Yeah, great to see you once again. Kevin Hall says to say hi, as always. So thank you so much for being here, because we have something really cool to talk about. Something that happened in Iowa back on this date in history that is all part of the Iowa Almanac series that you do. So let's talk about something that happened a long time ago, because everybody loves to be entertained, but this was probably one of the more unique things people were entertained with.
I'm surprised in your crazy radio days you didn't do something like this, but Henry Rowland, that's about the only thing you probably didn't do.
Well, I did climb up to the top of the Capitol building one time and put gold leaf on the dome. Does that count?
That more than counts.
Okay.
That more than counts. Absolutely.
But I went in from the inside.
Kevin Hall did that.
I know Kevin didn't do that either, but we went from the inside. Not like this guy. Tell us what this guy did.
Yeah, this is Henry Rowland. He had a rather odd job. He climbed buildings from the outside in the 1920s and 30s, traveling around the country, entertaining audiences through those antics. Well, it was in August of 1924 that Rowland, his wife, Anna, and their small daughter named Helen, well, they were traveling across our state. Henry would perform and collect donations to cover their living expenses, town to town. Well, they found themselves in Bloomfield, and Henry found the Davis County Courthouse there irresistible. Now, back then, of course, courthouse squares and main streets were major hubs of activity in small towns, so it was no surprise that several hundred people quickly gathered to watch Henry Rowland climb the outside of the building. All went well until he neared the cornice of the building. He lost his footing, Lou, and fell 35 feet to the sidewalk below. He broke his hip, among other things. Doctors said he would never climb again, and in fact, he spent 5 weeks in a hospital in Ottumwa.
Yeah, that's a couple of amazing things here. Number one, that he would look at a building like that and found it irresistible to climb. That's bizarre, but that's 35 feet. That's what 3 stories. That's a long way and hard to recover from something like that, because he had a hit with a ton of force.
Oh, absolutely. And again, the broken hip, etc. But the human fly, as he was known, would return to the entertainment circuit. And while he was gaining fame, there was still something missing. So in June of 1932, Henry Rowland was in northern Missouri, and he decided, well, I'm this close. So he crossed the state line to tackle the courthouse in Bloomfield once again. Now, that earlier fall I told you about left him with one leg a little shorter than the other, a left arm that never really recovered. But despite all that, on this date in 1932, Henry Rowland flawlessly climbed the Davis County Courthouse in less than 12 minutes, and then he put his cap on the head of the blind justice statue that stands atop the clock tower to show he was there. Just gave her the cap.
Like planting the flag by putting his cap on the statue, wasn't it?
That's absolutely it. That is it. That was his marker.
In 12 minutes. That's another amazing accomplishment. And I know we have some people here that use suction cups on the outside of skyscrapers, like the Spider-Man, I think he called himself, right? But this story, unfortunately, has an ending that's not a good ending.
No, and you mentioned the 12 minutes. He climbed the building in the span of this TV program. From the time you started to right now, that's all the time that it took. Well, sadly, 5 years later, Henry was 43 years of age, and he died in a fall from a trapeze that was more than 60 feet above the ground in Tennessee. A sad ending, to be sure, but that Davis County Courthouse may have beaten him once. Henry Rowland got his revenge 8 years later. He climbed the building in Bloomfield on this date back in 1932. I think that's 91 years ago today.
Wow. Amazing accomplishment, and, just somebody that did something that he had to do, so that is great. People want to find out more about things that happened on this day in history in Iowa. Where's the best place they can go?
You go to iowaalmanac.com if you like. We have a picture of Henry from his performing days there, iowaalmanac.com. You can follow us on the Twitter machine as well, at Iowa Almanac.
Thank you, Professor Stein, and thank you for spending a little time with us. We'll see you tomorrow.